Welcome to part two, guys. So we're talking about challenges and trials along the way, and we talked about Indiana Jones a second ago, but let me give you another way to look at this. So a traditional quest, it always consists of some kind of knight fighting an evil dragon or a mythical creature, some ultimate bad guy. Now, when we talked about Beowulf, remember, we talked about the ultimate bad guy. It was the dragon. That's what ended up killing him. So there's always got to be some kind of metaphorical big bad guy. Okay, so I want you to think of Sleeping Beauty, for example, which is what I have on this PowerPoint. Maleficent represents that questing bad guy. Not only is she, I don't know if she's a queen or a witch or whatever she is, but not only is she a person that's a bad guy, but then she turns into the dragon, and Philip has to literally go through her to get to Aurora, to wake her up, to have his big happily ever after. All right, so let's look at the previous story. So on the way to the store, Jimmy runs into some school bullies who are picking on the girl that he likes. We'll call her Betsy. And before he realizes it, Jimmy jumps off his bike and throws himself at the bullies' leader, Calvin. Jimmy shoves Calvin into the dirt. However, Jimmy's outnumbered and the group beats him up a bit, but he never backs down. The bullies get frustrated and Betsy's able to get away safely. So here we go. Jimmy, our protagonist, our quester, meets a metaphorical beast he seemingly can't beat. So it's the group of bullies. Okay, and then on top of that, Calvin, who's our dragon, our ultimate bad guy, he stands between Jimmy, his lady love, and ultimately he stands in front of Jimmy's holy grail, which is, remember, our tangible object, our eggs. Now, here's the big deal. This is the number 5 I was telling you about. Jimmy's real quest, it doesn't have to do with eggs. It has nothing to do with the tangible object. Indiana Jones, it's not about him getting the Holy Grail. It's not about him getting the lost Ark of the Covenant. It's not about that tangible thing. It's educational. The real reason, the whole point of the quest is self-knowledge, learning something about yourself. So in these novels, a lot of times the main character, the quester, is young, immature, inexperienced, sheltered. Indiana Jones, I wouldn't call him young or immature. I would call him inexperienced. That's the same thing with, if we're going to talk about Out of the Silent Planet for a minute, our main character, Ransom, he's inexperienced. What he's going to get into, this situation he's going to be put into, this quest he's going to go on, he has no knowledge of what to do. So let's go back to Jimmy, though, for a minute. Our main scenario here. He didn't really need to stop and defeat the bullies. He could have just kept going to the store. He didn't even have to go for eggs. He could have told his mom, yeah, I don't need to do that right now. But what does he learn about himself? Okay, so think about that for a second. What does Jimmy learn about who he is as a person? Okay, he learns some things. He learns that he doesn't like people getting picked on. He learns that he's smarter than he thinks, braver than he thinks. It sounds like that, Winnie the Pooh wall art, if you've ever seen that. Okay, he is more than he thinks he is. Gains confidence. So, here's the connection. Sometimes it's not a quest. If they don't meet those 5 elements, it's not a quest. With that being said, you need to be asking yourselves about Out of the Silent Planet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change up our final essay. We're not going to deal with theme. We're going to deal with quests. Okay, it's going to work better for us. So I want you to just ignore the last one. I'll be talking to you more about this one later. But as we read this story and we get further into your independent novels, start thinking about these things. Is this story about a quest? Who is this quest about? What is the true reason for the quest? Now, the assignment, very quickly. It's a Shaun the Sheep video. You're going to have a lot of fun watching this. You do not need to have full sentence or paragraph answers to this. Okay, you're just answering these 6 questions. Please do it through Turnitin. I fixed it so it should work. Do not share it with me.